Hi. So I've been living in Thailand for just over 2 years now, with no thoughts of going back to the UK anytime soon. And this video is for anyone who's thinking about moving abroad or anyone who's just curious about moving abroad. Yeah, in my case, specifically to Thailand. So I'm going to talk about what life was like for me personally in England and why I chose Thailand specifically to move to. People choose lots of different places. First of all, for anyone thinking of moving abroad, and this was a huge part of the decision-making process for me and my partner, a big thing to consider, of course, is your job. So can you sustain yourself, or if not your job, your savings? Can your savings sustain you for an elongated period of time while you're away from your home country? Um, Especially if you're from a home country where you can receive help if you are financially struggling, specifically. Okay. And other things to consider are the physical environment that you prefer and the mental environment that you prefer. And what I mean by that, by physical environment, so general living, what kinds of goods do you like to buy on a regular basis? What do you like to do for fun? What do you like to eat, etc.? That is a huge part of life. You have to be, yeah, I think in my opinion, okay, you have to be picky about that in order to live a life that you feel is going to be fulfilling. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to feel more fulfilled in life, and these things are important to me. And then there's the mental environment. And what I mean by that is societal norms, access to things you like to do for your mental health. And in my case, I love nature. I love seeing greenery and just seeing the gorgeous things that this earth has to offer. We're on such a beautiful planet. Like, look at Mars. Earth is gobsmacking, honestly. And to live in a place where you get to be really happy with what you see on a daily basis, I think is so important. And another part of the mental environment is things you do. So whatever makes you happy. If you're an athletic kind of person, it's better for you to be around athletic people. If you are a very zen yoga type person, it's nice for you to be around those kinds of people. So those were the three big factors: job, physical environment, and mental environment. And those are things I really had to ask myself. It's really personal, and you can't find the answer from anywhere, really. So my husband and I had to do a lot of soul searching, I guess, and ask ourselves these questions and consider how we were living life. Are we happy living life like this? You know, what do we want from our lives in the next few years? And asking those questions really helped us to choose where we wanted to go. So, what was it like living in England? Now, I just want to say, I love England. I am British by nationality. I love England to the extent that someone should love their country and where they're from. All right. I love the architecture from old times. I love how you can also see lots of developed and modern places. That's very cool, especially in the big cities. London is gorgeous, Leeds, Manchester, gorgeous, gorgeous cities. Okay. Really, really nice to visit. For me personally, it's not the best place to live. And a lot of people ask that question here, like, oh, why do you like Thailand? I really want to live in England. It's like, I don't know how to say this without being disrespectful or without sounding like I am not appreciative of where I'm from, because I really, really am. You know, I'm appreciative of the fact that people have free education, which is so important. I'm appreciative that the government help people when it's needed and that they have the resources to do that, which is absolutely fantastic. However, living on a daily basis in England is a complete different story. And if you ask anybody from the middle class or below in England, they can tell you so many of the daily struggles that they have just for basic things. Okay, and I'm going to get into that. And this is why I didn't prefer living in England. So first, we're going to start off with the basics. Can you guess? Actually, can you guess what the first reason was? The weather. The weather's not fantastic, famously. You can get over it. There are perks, like you can take long walks without getting sweaty, which is nice, which Shane and I love to do, actually. We love taking long walks, and that was a huge part of our life and how we spent quality time together. But for daily things like getting milk, so you need a coffee in the morning. Oh shit, we forgot. We've only got enough left for like half a brew. All right, that's not doable. You got to go to the shop. You got to go to the local co-op. You got to get your milk. Now that process, when you've just gone from being like 30 to 35 degrees in your bed, and then you have to get on leggings, pants, 2 pairs of socks, your trainers, and you got sleep in your eyes. I know it's a basic thing. Dare I say it makes me sound soft, but it's not my preference to do that every day, or every other day. Every time you need groceries, you've got to, pull it out the bag with the weather. I get so cold. My nose gets freezing, my ears gets freezing, my lips hurt. I get these like spots. I call them cold sores or cold spots. I tried to get them diagnosed at the doctors when I was young. Like my parents tried to, they just said, oh, it just happens with the temperature, nothing to worry about. They're just a bit itchy. It's really annoying though. They don't hurt, they don't change me physically for the long term. I just get these like tiny, kind of like fingernail sized spots that just are so itchy. And I get that in the cold. Now, that's not ideal. Okay, living in England. So the weather for me, all right. And on your mental health as well, always seeing gray skies, it does take a toll on you. The nights being so early also takes a toll on one's mental health. It took a toll on my mental health because with my work in England, because of the time zone, I work from the mornings 8 or 9 until about 2 or 3, maybe 4 o'clock. No, 2 or 3, yeah. And yeah, so I would finish work, have about 2 hours of daylight most of the year, and then that's it. And that was so sad to me. I love to spend time in the sun. And in England, once the sun's going down, that's it. You're freezing. Like even during the day, it's not that warm. Okay, so you get my point about the weather. We're talking so much about the weather. But as you can tell, it's an important part of the general living experience for me. So weather in England. Now, secondly, also very common, cost of living. Okay, so it's nothing new that the UK is an expensive place to live. Fair enough, people get good wages. It's pretty much the same in any economy. If you are not aware of this, you should really, really be aware of this because it's so important. In every economy, the government basically calculates how much a person needs in order to live a basic good life. So they've made that calculation. There's a predetermined number that our authorities come up with so that they can do all these things like give away benefits and welfare in America and, calculate stuff for the country. Yeah, and cost of living. You can live all right, but in my personal opinion, you can't live well. The way that I want to live, you can't live well. So for example, we like to eat a lot of fruit and veg. However, we're quite lazy cooking. Okay, and there's only 2 of us. And sometimes economically, it works out much cheaper to buy ready-made food rather than cooking. Okay, so economically, right, we choose these ready-made meals, a nice concoction from the co-op because that was our corner shop when we last lived in England. Yeah, it has carrots, it has potatoes, it has perhaps some broccoli, but it's not in the freshest condition. It's quite expensive for what it is. I almost always regret buying ready-made things. I think I could just make this myself. But then it's the effort, it's the price of all the individual vegetables that we probably won't finish by the time they expire. Okay, so it's a waste of money in the long term. Yeah, and that was just difficult. The price of things in general was really difficult to deal with in terms of what we wanted to eat and the convenience of being able to have ready-made food. All right, and we'll get to how convenient Thailand is later, but the convenience of food in England is not there. You can get takeaway, but it is expensive and it will take a toll on your wallet. And it's just not smart to always get takeaway. You will run yourself dry. I don't want to run my wallet dry. Do you get me? Okay, so weather, cost of living. Number three, lack of things to do that align with what I personally like. So England has a huge scene for drinking and socializing, where the center of that socializing is drinking. I don't personally enjoy drinking. I don't look down on drinkers. I think there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not something that I enjoy doing because of the aftermath. First of all, I think it's a big thing to pay for a good time. Like if you want to really drink your heart out, you're going to pay for it with the next day. I'm not willing to give the next day. And even if I was willing to give that time away, which sometimes, I just do, like, you do nothing all day. Yeah, fair enough. But it's the headache. I cannot deal with the headache. Okay. Which is why I won't drink past mid-tipsy stage. If I am inclined to have a drink of sorts, which has to derive from fruit. Anyway, that's another story. So yeah, lack of things to do that align with what I like. Plenty of clubs, plenty of bars. I don't like going to those places. We like go-karting. It's super expensive. If you go often, you will be run dry. And then it's just one thing, like the tracks are the same. We lived in Manchester. They have a certain company have 2 tracks there. We've visited both tracks multiple times, and they do change them every couple of months, every few months, whatever. But still, just lack of things that align. That's not enough to stay in England for, right? Team sport. Yeah, we had memberships and everything. I love team sport. And when we go back to England, I really want to visit, but they have go-karting here, you know what I mean? It's like no reason. Of course, there are cafes in England and everything. Again, think about the price. All right, so those will add up if you like that kind of lifestyle, which is fine for people with the means, fine. But I'm looking to save my pounds and pennies to do bigger things. And that's the situation that I am in. Okay, so weather, cost of living, lack of things to do, that align with what I like. And 4 is societal norms. I was going to say, can you guess that? But it's quite specific. But yeah, societal norms. So, it's not new news. I said that before. But lots of people know, obviously, England is a dangerous place. People in England who live there know that it can be a dangerous place. I don't think visitors and foreigners are that aware, but some visitors and tourists, unfortunately, find out the hard way. It's really common in London and other big cities for your phone to just get snatched, or something or another to just get snatched. I witnessed my sister's phone get snatched literally in, oh God, where was it? Croydon. Croydon is known for being rough, but still in front of a library. Like she was with her little sisters, and yeah, had no little brother at the time. Yeah, but that's terrible. I've had both another one of my siblings, 2, 3, oh my God, 4 of my siblings have been assaulted on UK streets in different parts of the UK. Seriously. Yeah. So that's terrible. A lot of people I know have been, mugged, or something's been taken off them. Yeah, I think my elder sister got a phone taken off. My older brother got a knife pulled out on him, which must have been so scary. My sister got a phone taken off her, my younger sister. And I can't remember right now the answer, but there were so many stories, and so many people have had such terrible stories. Oh, I got my card taken off me. This was in broad daylight, like at a kind of junction thing. And my bag was open, and I literally thought to myself in the train station, oh, this clipboard thing is sticking out. I wonder if, yeah, the stuff inside will be all right. And yeah, that's it. I knew exactly where it happened. It was that crowded little island. I was looking at the road, and yeah, I looked in my bag. Someone else must have, I don't know, seen me look in my bag and thought, yeah, but that was that anyway. So societal norms, you have to look out for yourself. All right, that's one thing. You look out for yourself. Don't go out too late on your own. Always have good people with you. And that gets so tiring. Even just like walking around town in Manchester. It's broad daylight. Okay, I'm not talking like 10 p.m. either. I'm like 3 p.m. going home. You've got to have your like resting bitch face on, like, don't fuck with me. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to really get your heart on. Shane's just coming. So any tiny noises, if you hear them, yeah, don't worry. Yeah, but you've got to get a real tough facade on, and that can be so exhausting day after day after day. Okay, so those are the 4 reasons of why I didn't prefer living in England. Weather, cost of living, lack of things to do, societal norms. And there are a few more things under societal norms. So safety, of course, is one huge thing. And another thing is the comparison mentality. Just before we go on to the next bit. Yeah, comparison mentality is not good. So people actively look down on people for having less or not having what they think they should have, and all of these silly things that are just a figment of the imagination. Like, they literally don't matter. Everything that we can see right now with our eyes, that is something that we use and shit, right, has just been made by other people. Why are we putting so much importance? If it does the job, hey, it does the job. We shouldn't judge people for which tool they use to do the job, you know, and that's a crazy part of society in England. And something that you can actively feel as a member of society, and that's part of the society. All right, so that's about England. Now, finally, why we chose Thailand, which in a nutshell is for all the opposite reasons, but to go into a bit more detail, mainly, of course, a lot of people say the people. I love the people in Thailand. Yeah, it's something that you can't explain. A lot of people say that as well, but I'm going to give my best attempt to explain. All right. And one of the reasons why the people are so lovely in Thailand and why they have a huge place in my heart, why they have a huge place in my heart is you can have your guard down for the most part. And what I mean by that is the opposite of what I mentioned about England. So you don't need to worry so much about your bag being just on your side. Like, you've got a crossbody bag. I got robbed with a crossbody bag, yo. That's the bag you're not meant to get robbed while you're wearing it. And here, you don't even need to worry. You seriously don't need to worry. For the most part, everywhere is so safe, and people don't make you feel like they're being predatory, if you know what I mean. That's another thing. I didn't even mention that about England. But when you walk around in England, especially as a girl, as a woman, you feel like there are quite the number of people that look at you in a way that makes you feel quite uncomfortable, and they can be very open about it. In Thailand, for the most part, that doesn't exist. People are not intimidated like that. And I say for the most part because, of course, no country is perfect. Right? I understand there have been some bad stories from different places, but in terms of statistics, it's nowhere near as bad as what happens in places like England and the US and other Western countries and the other third world countries. You know, compared to the rest of the world, you just feel at ease here. And I've traveled to quite a few countries, and you'll hear the same thing from people who have traveled to 10 times the places that I have. And that's something that a lot of people bring up because it is absolutely true. Okay. And that contributes to both the physical and mental environment, right? So if you enjoy going out for walks in England, that's it, cut off the deadline, dark. Don't go in the park after dark. That's the rule. Okay. I wouldn't go in the park after dark. Don't go in the park when there are a few people there in the daylight, let alone after dark. But here you can go in any park, you can go in the dark and you will be all right. The people are not out there waiting to prey on vulnerable people, which is a nice society to be part of. And people are overall really friendly. Any interactions you need to have in supermarkets, in petrol stations, etc., people are mostly quite friendly and willing to help and not dangerous. Okay. One example is Shane and I got stuck on a mountain in Chiang Mai. Our tire popped. We went through some water, heard like and thought, oh shit. And then suddenly it was like dig, 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 dig. Well, oh my, the tire has popped. We're in the middle of nowhere. We're like 2.5 hours away from home. What are we gonna do? And it was like an hour from sundown. No way we could get off the mountain in an hour. On foot, pushing a bike. I felt so bad for Shane. He had to push this semi-automatic bike. And yeah, we walked for about 10 minutes. We decided to stop, and it was a wide part of the road. We thought, all right, you know what, this is Thailand. And I put my faith in the Thai people. All right, this is Thailand. There are loads of pickup trucks going. Well, not loads actually. There are pickup trucks. There is quite a bit of traffic because people are going home, and getting off and on the mountain for the evening. And I thought, let's just stay here for a sec. Let's just stay here and see what happens. Literally within 5 minutes, this couple stopped. They couldn't speak a word of English. We, Google translated. They popped the bike in the back of the truck. They went to a mechanic that they knew at first. They were closed. They took us to another mechanic. They drove us like 20, 30 minutes to somewhere else. And the whole time I'm thinking, wow, oh my God. I was thinking, if this was like a Mr. Baldwin story, we're on our ways to be murdered here. But no, this is Thailand, baby. They took us to a mechanic, petted a little cat there while the mechanic fixed the tire. Oh, wham, bam, shazam. We're back on the bike. And they didn't want any money for it. In hindsight, I would have left money in the car because Thai people are really like that. No, they don't want to take anything from you because I think they believe the act comes from the heart. They don't want to do it in exchange for anything, but that good deed will come back to them. And that is such a beautiful thing as well. For the majority of a society to believe that aligns with what I also believe as an individual. And that is a lovely thing, which is what I think people mean when they say, oh, I love the people in Thailand. A mixture of lots of those things, like things that are essential to your mental health in society as a human being. Okay, not looking around, not being on edge all the time. All right, so the people. Now, going specifically into the physical environment, of course, we have cost of living and the remote work friendliness. So I get to work online. And of course, we say cost of living. Now, in England, I had to work 6 days a week, pushing out the hours every single day. Like I said, barely seeing sunlight, just getting the basics done, bare minimum, microwave meals. Here, I don't have to work as much. So unlike I've heard some people think, some locals think that, foreigners have a lot of money, they're earning a lot of money. A lot of foreigners actually come to Thailand to work less because we want more life, because we don't get to live a lot of life working so many hours in our home countries. That's the real reason. So I get to have more life here, and I'm so thankful to be able to live in Thailand, to be able to get more life, because time is the one thing that we can't buy. I can't get that back. I can't replace that. And I do not, from the bottom of my heart, I do not want to give away 6 days of my week just to be able to eat and sleep and have basic things as a human being living on this earth. So I'm so grateful, the cost of living. But when I say cost of living, that's what that means. Okay, my forever gratefulness towards having to work less than I would do if I was living in England. I don't want more money. I just want to live a good life. well, money is good. I'm not saying money don't come to me. Money come to me, but I mean, money is not the core reason for living for me. It doesn't make life better if it's not used in the right way. All right, so cost of living, remote work friendliness, internet is fabulous here. You can get internet anywhere and everywhere. Mobile data, easy. Okay, next, convenience, and convenience in terms of pretty much everything. So we talked about internet, food. All right, if you are hungry and you are hungry at 2 a.m., you can go to 7-Eleven and you can get rice, like legitimate rice, not like Uncle Ben's rice that's like rubber. I'm talking like fluffy ass rice with a nice dish on the side. Get a little soup if you want to. Get some chocolate milk, babe. Treat yourself. You know, for less than £3, you can eat well. Not full of preservatives for the most part. Definitely not as many preservatives as are in things like microwave meals and whatever in the UK. Things like fast food in the UK. I'm going to ski. Yeah, so healthy for the most part, sweet potato, a chicken breast, if you're on some protein thing, whatever you want, okay, is in 7-Eleven in the middle of the freaking night, let alone the daytime. These aunties are feeding you. They're feeding you with their love and their time and the skill that their grandmas have passed down to them. Do you know what I mean? And you can taste it in what they make. And that is all available for less than like £2. Less, a £1.50 with, you know, inflation. Yeah, it used to be 30 baht, now it's 50 baht. Don't complain, man. Don't complain. Okay? Ridiculous, because you cannot get that in the UK. Not a chance. Not a chance. And if they could get the ingredients to make it those prices, the ingredients would be shocking, like the lowest grade rice from Tesco or something, or, you know, the lowest grade rice from a Chinese supermarket, because that's the only way they can make it that cheap. All right. It's amazing here for the convenience of food. Yeah, that's it. Food convenience. Okay. There. Convenience, of course, of other stuff as well. So public transport isn't excellent in terms of being able to get buses, but trains connect every major city. You can easily rent a car or a motorbike, or actually Bangkok is pretty well connected with the BTS, is it called? The tram. I've not lived in Bangkok, but it's pretty well connected if you like cities, and it's easy to get to places. You can easily hire a driver to get around if you need to do that. So it's very, very convenient. Now, next thing that you have to think about living in Thailand, which I think is quite easy in Thailand, are the visas. A lot of people say it's hard, oh, it's stressful, oh, it's hassle, but that's the price of living here as a foreigner. That's what we have to do to live here. And honestly, I think it's quite easy. A lot of countries are much more difficult. You have to get, yeah, do a bit of paperwork, do some preparation over here, but compared to countries like Vietnam or the Philippines, you have to jump through a lot of hoops in those countries, and the quality of life, in my opinion, isn't even as good. So all they ask for here is accurate paperwork and a price, and that's fair because we're getting to live in a country that we wouldn't otherwise have access to unless that country allowed it. Okay, so I think it's pretty easy, and that's one of the good things about living here. Another good thing is the accessibility to other countries, which is kind of ironic for me to say because we've not visited a lot of countries while we've been here. Actually, we've been in Malaysia, Laos, Philippines. Okay, that's 3. So, but it was really easy to do. So on the plane, all of those flights were shorter than a train ride from Bangkok to Chiang Mai. So you get how easy it can be, and it's really cheap as well if you're into traveling. Another reason I love Thailand is no natural disasters. So I love the idea of Japan. I know obviously lots of people live in Japan. Personally, I'm the kind of person that gets quite paranoid about natural disasters. So living somewhere where natural disasters are not incredibly common is good to me, right? Saying that, there have been tsunamis in the south. We have not lived in the south. There were earthquakes actually last year, a ripple effect from Myanmar, which we actually felt. But, and I'm so sorry for all the people course, that lost their lives during that quake, but we didn't actually feel too much of a stir in Chiang Mai while we were there. So it was still relatively safe. We seen things shake a bit and we had to go downstairs. But it was still relatively safe. A lot of media on that was really, really exaggerated, I think, from Thailand. From what I saw, the biggest damage that the ripple effect of the earthquake had, I think, was a building collapsing, but the building was under construction, so it wasn't strong anyway. All the buildings that were finished, they didn't fall down. So yeah, so it's relatively safe anyway, natural disasters. Another reason I love Thailand is the option for both urban and rural places to visit. Bangkok is so incredibly modern. Some places really outdo the West and outdo England from what I've seen, you know, with the shopping scene and the accessibility of different kinds of modern, luxurious amenities. You know, it's crazy. And then there are really, really rural places where people are still getting their water from a pump, you know, so every kind of life in between you can actually see. And for me as a person, that's really interesting. England has different classes, of course, but it's very, very articulated the way the classes are set out. Here, there's a lot more freedom with what kind of life you want to live, depending on what works for you. You know, some people want to live on the farms. They have no desire for luxury apartments. They have no desire to go to amazing rooftop restaurants and things like that. They're very content on the farm in their little shack. And you know what? Props to them. If that's the life they know they want to live, amazing. And that's available. You can actually do that. And there are the amenities set out for them to actually do that and live that life, which is fantastic in my opinion. Much more satisfying for the people than I feel the UK do, and then other poorer countries do, like the Philippines and like Cambodia and such. Okay, next, healthcare is really accessible if you need it. Shane and I are not so good with insurance and stuff like that, but when we've needed to get medicals or when we want a checkup from hospitals, it's there and it's very cheap for you to do, just to see everything's working all right. Really, really accessible. And if you want anything more done, of course, Thailand is famous for all kinds of procedures. That's another topic. I'm not personally interested in that, but that does interest a lot of people. And if you're interested, that is available here for what I understand is a very good price also. Another big reason, as I mentioned before, which I love, is being near nature, greenery, and the weather. That contributes, of course, to the physical environment, and also overlaps into the mental environment, which I'm going to get into now. So being around nature and having warmer weather, for me, really helps me to feel, you know, grateful for being able to move around and be and have fun. It's difficult to put yourself in that mental space when you're freezing. Okay, like dress better. Yeah, I know you can dress up and then you go inside and it's somewhere warm and then you've got to like take all your layers off. Just the inconvenience of that for me is not something I want to have to do, and that's my personal choice. So I love Thailand for the weather and the nature. It's amazing. And of course, contributing to the mental environment are the societal norms. So the behavior of society, like I mentioned before, safety. There is still comparison, I feel, and among locals, they might do that themselves, but there's less judgment. There's less judgment for the kind of life that you choose. And if you are a nice person, and that's very evident, people will rarely be mean to you for no reason. And I've witnessed this. You know, if you're a straight up, see you next Tuesday, they will talk about you right in front of you. And that's not just, I'm not, people should be talked about if they're being a dick, you know what I mean? But that happens in any country, that Philippines, uh, anywhere. That literally happens anywhere. All right, it gets pointed out. So if you are just a nice person, I think that you get a nice response from society. Just be upfront, be straightforward, tell the truth, be clear about what you want. Don't be too stressed out, very jia yin yen, which directly translates to cool heart. But don't be Jailan, don't be hot heart. And most things are really, really easy. Another good example of good behavior in society is Shane and I were just sitting in the park one time, sitting on some kind of like stadium, outdoor stadium thing. And we're just sitting in the corner. No one's really taking notice of us. We're just in the park chatting, whatever. And we're watching these kids play football, like high school kids or something, play football on a little pitch that's like netted up. So we're just watching them. It's quite late. It's dark, pitch black, just the lights on the pitch, so they can't see us. And they're playing, and I can't remember what happened. Hang on a sec, babe. What did the boy do that pissed the other boy off? That's it. He tackled. So one boy was tackled unfairly by another boy. Okay, and even to me, I don't really like football, but I thought, ooh, something that's wrong there. That was not nice to do. Yeah, he like messed with his feet or something, didn't he? You purposely tripped him over. Okay, that was it. So he tackled him unfairly, purposely tripped him over. Okay, any kind of playing, right? That's like, ooh. Now in England, what would usually happen? You tell me, babe, you're a lad, you play football. What would usually happen in England if that happened?
The lad got unfairly tackled in front of and pushed the other one back, raising hands.
Okay, did you hear that?
Absolutely.
There'd be commotion. Yeah. So if you didn't hear that, the lad that got tackled unfairly would jump up, be defensive, say something loud. There might be a fight depending on how rowdy either side are. Okay. Now, none of that happened on this pitch. We're thinking, oh, shit, what's gonna happen? Like, yo, these are the kids nowadays, like sitting on the edge of this little concrete seat. And nothing happened. Shocker. Like, oh, kid's not even going to defend himself. Whoa, there are lines, Ailey. You should defend yourself. I'm thinking like, oh, why is he not defending himself? A bit later, when they are playing, the kid who basically got assaulted hasn't forgotten, obviously, and he trips this kid up. It was that kid that tripped him up, in it. The kid who got assaulted first tripped that boy up, the same boy. Yeah, he did it. It wasn't his friend. Yeah, he tripped him up back. Now, no one said anything, but there was silence for like 3 seconds. The whole pitch went silent. We went silent. Yeah, but in that moment, we feel everyone realized that's it. Justice has been served. We are now equal. Your action has now had retribution, which I feel is accurate to the amount that you did me wrong, and now we're done. And then they played happily, actually happily ever after. There was laughing after that. Between the two incidences, about 5 minutes between each incident, there was no laughing. There was a bit of seriousness in the air, but no rowdiness, no fighting. Amazing. And those are the local, like, street boys. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Okay, those are the local lads that roam the streets. Nothing to be afraid of. Okay, which is really nice, right? So that was everything I like about Thailand, the physical and mental environment. Just to recap, cost of living, remote work friendliness, convenience of food, the health benefits of living here, accessibility of living here, visa options and living in other countries, no natural disasters, herbal and rural options, healthcare is accessible if needed, being near nature and greenery and the weather, which spills into mental environment, being around nature and the weather helps my mental state, and societal behavior. And there are an abundance of things under societal behavior, which I really, really like. In a nutshell, nice behavior is reciprocated well. And I can't say the same for the UK. And I like that about living in Thailand. Yeah, so those are all the individual reasons, but one huge, well, I wouldn't say it's such a huge reason. One other reason is because I also lived here when I was younger. So Thailand is not foreign to me in terms of the kind of food and the general, you know, climate, both physically and the climate in society. Um, but saying that, when we did live here, I just wanted to move back to the UK. In typical fashion, the grass is always greener, right? And I was quite young at that time. So I really, really wanted to live in the UK. I was like watching Skins. I wanted to go to secondary school in England. I felt so shit about not having a locker and all just silly things, you know. And I didn't appreciate life here back then. But when we did go back, that's when I met Shane, and we tried life in the UK for a bit, you know, tried different jobs, tried living there, and we just didn't feel like it was the long-term place for us. And when Hazy came to us, like, ah, my baby, when she came to us, you know, I felt like, oh, I don't want to go anywhere without this cat. I'm not going anywhere without Hazy. Mark my words. I'm not going anywhere without Hazy. And I really love Thailand. So the only solution was we're moving to Thailand. We booked a ticket and we've been here for 2 years now. And for the future, in terms of what I think about living here long term, is I would like to stay here as long as I can. I really wish that I had the right to live here just because so much of my childhood, like 6 years of my childhood was spent here. And now 3 to 4 years of my adult life, 2 years this time, but we've been coming on and off since 2016, 2016 we came on holiday and then we lived here for 8 months in 2018. So we really established roots here in terms of how we want to live life. And I just would like to live here for as long as possible without taking the piss and without taking advantage of Thailand, of course. And Thailand willing, I would love to raise a family here. Shane and I would like to have children and for them to grow up on this side of the world. And eventually, if anyone from our family wants to live here together, if they'd like to, because the quality of life is just so amazing here, and I'd love to share that with our family too. So that is why I don't want to live in the UK and why I chose Thailand. And that is the end of this video. 45 minutes! Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you had a good time. And thank you for watching. Let me know where you're watching from. That would be so cool. See you. Bye.